In the early 14th century, the Ottoman frontier principality, under the leadership of Osman Ghazi, began a new phase of territorial expansion in northwestern Anatolia. Following a series of successful campaigns against smaller Byzantine fortresses, Osman set his sights on Bursa, a major urban center with significant strategic and economic importance. The capture of Bursa would not only provide the Ottomans with a secure base for further expansion, but also symbolize the rise of a new power capable of challenging Byzantine authority in the region. The approach to Bursa was marked by careful planning and strategic foresight. Unlike previous operations, which relied heavily on speed, surprise, or cunning tactics, the campaign against Bursa required a methodical and sustained military effort. Osman recognized that a direct assault on the well-defended city would be costly and likely unsuccessful. Instead, he focused on isolating the city by surrounding key surrounding towns, cutting off supply routes, and undermining the city's ability to receive reinforcements. This blockade-based strategy reflected a growing sophistication in Ottoman military organization. Before the siege, Osman and his commanders worked to secure the countryside surrounding Bursa. Small forts and villages that could provide logistical support to the city were either captured or neutralized. By controlling these satellite positions, the Ottomans ensured that Bursa would be increasingly isolated, with limited access to food, trade, and communication. This preparation was essential, as the siege was expected to last months or even years. Ensuring that the city's resources were contained would increase pressure on its defenders and ultimately reduce Ottoman casualties during the final assault. The siege of Bursa also highlighted Osman Ghazi's emphasis on coalition building and mobilization. The principality attracted warriors from surrounding regions, many inspired by Osman's reputation for justice, leadership, and military skill. These forces were organized into disciplined units capable of both defending Ottoman-held territories and participating in offensive operations. The loyalty of these warriors was critical in sustaining a prolonged campaign, particularly one that required constant vigilance around a heavily fortified urban center. Tactical innovation played a crucial role throughout the siege. Ottoman forces established encampments at strategic locations around the city, controlling major roads and trade routes. These positions allowed Osman to monitor movements, intercept supplies, and prevent Byzantine forces from reinforcing Bursa. Scouts and local informants provided intelligence on troop movements, supply convoys, and the morale of the defenders. This combination of military pressure and information gathering created conditions favorable for eventual success. While Bursa was the primary objective, Osman's operations during this period also strengthened control over the surrounding countryside. By bringing smaller towns and villages under Ottoman authority, he established a network of secure territories that could support future military campaigns. Roads and trade routes were stabilized, and local governance structures were introduced to collect taxes, maintain order, and encourage economic activity. These measures ensured that the expansion of Ottoman influence was sustainable and integrated into a broader administrative framework. The psychological impact of the siege was equally important. The prolonged Ottoman presence around Bursa sent a clear signal to neighboring powers, including remaining Byzantine authorities and rival Turkic tribes. Osman's principality demonstrated that it could conduct extended military operations, maintain cohesion among diverse groups, and apply consistent pressure to achieve strategic objectives. This reputation enhanced Ottoman legitimacy and attracted new supporters who sought to join a rising state capable of securing lasting territorial gains. Osman's leadership during the siege exemplified the combination of personal courage, strategic vision, and organizational skill that defined his rule. He was known to personally supervise operations, ensuring that soldiers remained disciplined and focused. His son Orhan increasingly assumed responsibilities in commanding troops and overseeing encampments, reflecting a deliberate effort to transfer leadership experience to the next generation. This partnership between father and son strengthened continuity and prepared the state for future expansion under Orhan's eventual rule. Supply management and logistics were key factors in sustaining the siege. The Ottoman forces ensured that their own troops were well provisioned while simultaneously cutting off resources to Bursa. The surrounding territories were organized to provide food, water, and shelter, preventing shortages that could compromise the campaign. This focus on logistics reflected a maturing military administration capable of supporting sustained operations far beyond the frontier's initial settlements. The siege of Bursa also underscored the importance of diplomacy and local alliances. Osman engaged with neighboring communities, some of which were Byzantine or semi-independent settlements, to secure neutrality or support. These arrangements minimized the risk of counterattacks and allowed Ottoman forces to concentrate on the city itself. Osman's reputation for fairness and justice facilitated cooperation, reducing resistance from populations that might otherwise have supported the defenders. Over time, the siege significantly weakened Bursa's capacity to resist. Supplies dwindled, morale declined, and defenders faced increasing isolation. The combination of military pressure, strategic positioning, and control over surrounding areas created conditions favorable for the eventual Ottoman takeover. This approach reflected a balance of patience and decisiveness, avoiding unnecessary losses while maximizing long-term strategic gains. The capture of Bursa would later prove to be a pivotal moment in Ottoman history. Once secured, the city became a central hub for administration, commerce, and culture. It served as a base from which the Ottomans could launch further campaigns into Western Anatolia and beyond. The city's integration into the Ottoman state marked the transition from a frontier principality to a more organized and territorially cohesive power. The siege also set a precedent for Ottoman expansion strategies in the centuries to follow. The combination of surrounding key positions, cutting supply routes, gathering intelligence, and integrating conquered territories became central features of Ottoman military doctrine. Lessons learned during the siege of Bursa informed future campaigns across Anatolia, the Balkans, and eventually into the heartlands of the former Byzantine Empire. In retrospect, Osman Ghazi's approach to Bursa demonstrates the sophistication and adaptability of early Ottoman leadership. The siege was not merely a test of force, but an exercise in strategy, patience, and statecraft. By preparing the surrounding region, maintaining disciplined forces, and leveraging intelligence, Osman achieved a long-term victory that extended beyond the immediate capture of a city. The regional expansion during this period consolidated Ottoman authority in northwestern Anatolia and enhanced the state's strategic depth. By controlling key towns, forts, and trade routes, Osman laid the groundwork for sustained political and military growth. This expansion ensured that the principality was not only larger but also more secure and resilient against external threats. The siege of Bursa, with its combination of military acumen, strategic planning, and administrative foresight, stands as a defining example of Osman Ghazi's leadership. It illustrates how a small frontier state could evolve into a powerful regional actor through careful preparation, intelligent tactics, and effective governance. The eventual success at Bursa reinforced the legitimacy of Osman's rule and marked a significant step toward the establishment of a lasting empire. In conclusion, the siege of Bursa represents a critical chapter in the early history of the Ottoman state. Through surrounding key cities, cutting supply lines, and securing control over the countryside, Osman Ghazi ensured the principality's expansion was both strategic and sustainable. The operation highlights the combination of military skill, foresight, and administrative organization that enabled the Ottomans to transform a frontier territory into a cohesive and enduring state. The lessons of Bursa would resonate throughout Ottoman history, shaping campaigns, governance, and expansion for generations to come.